Burlington High School has a new ball game, literally. BHS is starting up a new Varsity's boys team for the spring lineup. We'll have more on that later in the program. Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Tad Stefanak, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty, John Vias, and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, and Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington Interfaith Clergy Group recently led a community vigil for peace and healing to commemorate the people of war-torn Ukraine. BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty covered the event for BCAT and has this report.
With our world forever changed by the pandemic and the ongoing war in Ukraine, the Burlington Interfaith Clergy held a vigil for peace and healing in the community in the BHS auditorium on Tuesday, March 29th.
The Interfaith Clergy Association really felt the need to provide the town of Burlington with a sense of healing and the desire for peace in light of what's happening and the horrors that are happening in Ukraine right now, as well as what's been going on the past couple of years with the pandemic. And it just seemed that on many different levels, we needed to provide an opportunity for people to just get together and just have a time to experience some peace and healing.
One of the evening speakers was Tom Tran, a local supporter for New Day, an organization now working to help families in Ukraine.
My wife and I, we've been involved with New Day for about 5 years now. So both of us, our families were from Vietnam. So for us, New Day's mission really closely aligns with kind of what our families have been through, being refugees, and being displaced by conflict. So New Day themselves, after the conflict happened in Syria, so they began from wanting to help those displaced women and children in the country. And now their mission actually has broadened to just beyond food aid, but actually developing programs for these women and children to be empowered and maintain their livelihoods.
By bringing the community together for evenings like this, the Burlington Interfaith Clergy wishes to remind us that through these tough times we are not alone and that there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow.
I think a lot of us are struggling right now with feelings of hopelessness and grief. Throughout this pandemic, we've been struggling, and so just to let people know that they're not alone and that someone is there for them, to listen to them.
When we leave this room tonight, we should take with us the sense of hope that the future is bright, will be brighter, and no matter what tragedy we're experiencing or what's going on in our lives or what's going on in the world, there's always the potential for things to get better. So we pray for that time to come soon.
You can watch the full vigil now airing on BCAT. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
Please join me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
As previously reported by BNews, at the March 14th Select Board meeting, the board offered apologies for their indelicate response to an initial report by the town's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, delivered by Dr. Barbara Addison Reed, and that was at the February 28th meeting. Addressing the DEI committee was not listed as an agenda item for the March 14th meeting. A DEI update was on the agenda for the Select Board meeting of March 28th, and the DEI committee did attend, excuse me. Select Board and DEI member Nick Priest asked the two boards to move forward following the April 9th town election. Priest also asked for the board's participation in a special meeting with the members of the community to participate in an open discussion. DEI committee member Nancy Bonacera addressed the board following Priest's statement, stating she had hoped for a repeat of the apologies that were given 2 weeks before, as members of the DEI committee were not present to receive them. Select Board Chair Jim Tigas replied to Bonacera's disappointment in the timing of the board's apologies, saying many of the emails they received on the matter asked the Select Board to make a more immediate apology. Tigas said the DEI issues will be addressed when the new board convenes following the town election. The next meeting of the Select Board will be on April 14th. This past week, multiple key figures of Burlington's boards and committees stepped down after many years of service to the town and were recognized by their respective peers at their final meetings. Here are some highlights.
I know Dr. Conti would be angry with me if I didn't mention the thanks of the district, Mr. Murphy, for your 27 years on the school committee. I know this is your last meeting, and I feel fortunate to have worked with you over the last 15 years in multiple roles, and it's hard to do service to, everything you've done to support the town in this work in 27 years, and especially over the last couple of years in a pandemic. I know I appreciate your leadership and everybody in central office, so thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to personally thank you for so many different things, the time that I've been able to spend with you, and the support that you've lended me on a professional and personal level. I'm grateful for. I'm a little salty over here, you already know, that you won't be with us a little bit longer, but I'm in the deepest gratitude I have for you, the respect I have for you, so thank you.
Thank you, Ray. It's very nice. Thank you.
You've served Burlington for much of your adult and professional life. You're a nationally recognized physician and scientist, and you've given so much back to your community. 15 years as an elected member of this Board of Health, half of which as chairman. You provided so much medical expertise and public health to this town. You represented the board. You provided advice on BCAT during the pandemic, week after week, and on so many other forums. You are an extraordinary individual who has made a major impact on the future of Burlington. Personally and professionally, I will miss your expertise, your humor, your commitment, but most of all, your advice. All I can say is thank you.
Over these 21 years, Gail has shown us how to be a dedicated conservation commissioner. You have participated in many walks with us through proposed construction sites to determine how we could protect our natural resources of bordering vegetative wetlands, stream banks, areas that flood, and a variety of wildlife habitats. After 20 plus years, I have looked forward to seeing you show up at site visits twice per month prior to our meetings and our meetings on the next day. I always felt that you had done your homework because you actually had a lot of things to say when I called upon you. So we're here today to recognize and thank you for your 21 years of service to our town through the Burlington Conservation Commission. Burlington has greatly benefited from your tenure with us as a commissioner. We on the commission want you to know that we really do appreciate your efforts.
You care so much about the town of Burlington. It's in your blood. I'm sure it's one of the first things you think of when you wake up is, what can we do? For all these years, I know you've thought about what can we do to make this town better? And it's come through. When I started to serve as the state representative for Burlington, you reached out to me and said, we've got work to do. I want to explain to you some of the issues that I've been working on, some of the things that I know, and we worked together from day one for the good of this town, and I really appreciate the resource that you gave me, the guidance that you gave me, the support that you gave me, and it was always for the good of Burlington, for the best interests of Burlington.
I've had the pleasure of working with Bob first as a co-worker and then over the last 12 years as a select board member. And as I've worked with him in his role as a select board member, he's just always willing to volunteer, always willing to help out with whatever needed to be done. And you will be missed, I'm sure. I hope that you will still be around. You'll still swing by the town hall and let us know what's going on, and also be available when we need help as well. But thank you for being a great coworker and elected official during my time knowing you, and thank you for being a good friend.
Last year, the 9/11 Memorial Site on the Burlington Common received a major overhaul for the 20th anniversary of the attacks on September 11, 2001. The memorial area includes plaques with the names of Burlington's fallen, or in the aftermath of that fateful day. In one of these last duties as a member of the Board of Selectmen, Bob Hogan added another piece of the 9/11 memorial that he helped establish. Hogan informed the board a graduate of Burlington High School, New York State Police Patrolman Ryan Fortini, went to Ground Zero after the towers fell to search for survivors. Fortini unfortunately contracted cancer due to his exposure at the site and passed away on January 1st, 2020. Hogan made a motion to approve adding a plaque in Ryan's name to the 9/11 memorial. The Select Board approved Hogan's motion by a vote of 5-0. Board Chair Jim Tigas noted that Bob Hogan was one of the people who drove down to New York to pick up the 2 rails from the World Trade Center wreckage, which are now on display as part of Burlington's 9/11 memorial across from the fire station. With the Burlington Town election fast approaching on April 9th, the Burlington Town Clerk's office is working on making voting at the polls quicker and more accurate. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanik has this.
The town of Burlington is making it quicker and easier to vote at the polls.
What we're doing here today is training for our election workers because we've got new technology for the election. We're going to be using new tabulation machines and brand new what are called poll pads to assist voters in checking in quicker. The first thing is right off the bat, you'll notice that what we have, instead of having the big paper lists, we now have these iPad-looking machines that will allow you to be checked in. You can do that very rapidly by giving the person your name or also providing ID if you want to. This is the newer technology. This will assist us in being able to move voters through quicker. One of the problems that people always complain about is that maybe it took a little too long. And also it allows for a more complete check on a person. These devices have everybody's information up to date, so we can more easily track people. If they're in the wrong precinct, tell them what precinct they need to go to. Voting is on April 9th at the Burlington High School. The polls are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we look forward to seeing you there.
From the Grandview Farm, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanik.
A note to those going out of town or unable to make it to the polls on April 9th. Absentee ballots are now available in the town clerk's office. If you have any questions about absentee voting, call 781-270-1660. Burlington High School had some of its musicians selected to the Massachusetts Music Educators Association's Junior District Band. Try that fast. This year, and BNews reporter John Viest toots their horn with this report.
Burlington High School is taking another huge step into the world of music as they make their way to the MMEA Northeastern Junior District Band, a festival held by the Massachusetts Music Educators Association that brings students from all around the Northeastern District to put their musical talents to the test.
The Northeastern District puts on a junior festival and a senior festival for music students all around our particular district. Which includes band, chorus, orchestra, and jazz band. This is exciting because this upcoming Junior District Festival is the first time that there's going to be an in-person, full 3-day rehearsal sequence and then also a concert for people to come and watch these young performers from around this part of the state.
Only a select few students from the Northeastern District are able to participate in the festival. This year, Burlington got its big break. The students will spend several months practicing, fine-tuning their instruments, and working hard to master their work of art. And that's only for the audition prep.
Students can practice the audition material for up to several months usually. We get the music for this in the previous school year. So some students prior to their audition, they may have been working on the audition material for 5 months before they actually audition. And then we were fortunate to have 3 students in Burlington selected to make it into the band. And then once they're selected, then they spend additional time rehearsing the music that they're going to be performing on the concert. And then once they get to the festival is really a sequence of rehearsals. So they spend, before they perform the concert, they spend probably about 10 hours in rehearsal with the rest of the audition students that were selected before they get on stage and perform a concert.
The Massachusetts Music Educators Association is made up of music educators, enriching students with an interest in all aspects of music, from band to chorus.
The organization is made up of music teachers, retired music teachers from all around the state, and the organization operates the All-State Festival and Conference that takes place every year in March, And then there are 5 smaller subsets of the MMEA organization that divide up the state into 5 different districts. So Burlington is in the northeastern district of the Massachusetts Music Educators Association. I think it's going to be a wonderful experience for them. When I was in 7th grade and I was growing up in South Florida, I was selected for my county's same version of the Junior District Band Festival. And I remember it being such an overwhelmingly positive experience to be, performing with students at such a high level, to be performing harder music, to work with a guest clinician. And it was really, for me, like one of the first experiences I had in a band program where I thought, this is something that I want to keep doing. So not to set the bar that high for the students that are going to be going, but I really think it's going to be a wonderful experience for them and maybe, change the way that they think about their instruments and performing and about music education.
From the band room at Burlington High School, this is John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
Congratulations to Marshall Simons Middle School 8th grader Brendan Chu, who was the 2022 recipient of a Scholastic Regional Gold Key and a National Silver Medal for his critical essay, America Will No Longer Be a Democracy. The Scholastic Art and Writing Awards were established in 1923 and recognizes talented students across the country. Notable winners of these prestigious awards include Andy Warhol, Sylvia Plath, Stephen King, and Robert Redford. This is a great honor for Brenton and Burlington schools. At Area 123 at the Burlington High School is the arena for BHS esports, which enables students to connect through gaming and gives them the opportunity to compete in real-world esport leagues. BNews student reporter Jack Carey has this report from the realm of gamers.
Students gather at Area 123 for a unique club gathered around the interest of gaming, headed by BHS digital learning coach Leroy Wong.
So I had a lot of students that were interested in video games. I guess probably about 2 years ago, I guess there's some serious thought to actually having an esports club where we would meet. I would bring consoles that I had, or other students would bring consoles they had, and then we just meet periodically and have a club.
While many see gaming as a leisurely activity, some people play esports competitively, like any other sport.
We have a Rocket League team, which is very good, so we've actually been in the playoffs a couple of times, and some of those guys have actually gone to Assumption College, and they actually played the college level teams and actually beat them in a scrimmage, so we have a pretty decent team. And so we do have some students that participate officially either like in a state league, or they'll participate in tournaments where they actually will play students from, I guess, around the country.
This allows for opportunities for students that some may be unaware of.
I mean, I guess the ultimate really cool thing would be if students could actually get a scholarship to play esports, and so that does exist. So there are many colleges now that actually offer a scholarship, just like any other athletic scholarship, to play esports.
But the club is also a great place to develop community among one common interest.
I think it's a more social way for them to kind of get together. And I think that's the thing that's been really neat for me to see, because during the, I guess we're still in the pandemic, but I'll say during the year when we were more remote or hybrid, we really didn't have as many people participating in like the club meetings because we're virtual. But now that we're back together, I can definitely see it's a big difference. Even though, video games are something that you can do without being together in person, I think the students really do like being in person and playing and just kind of, enjoying the games together in person.
From Area 123, I'm Jack Carey for BNews Sports.
The Burlington Housing Authority is seeking a part-time maintenance mechanic. This position entails preparing units for occupancy, performing trash and recycling duties, maintaining the interior and exterior of the properties, and other related duties as required. A valid driver's license is required, and you must be able to use hand and power tools and follow instruction. If interested, please email your resume to Samantha Hegarty at burlingtonhama.org. That's burlingtonhama.org. If you still haven't heard about what's happened at the annual Academy Awards ceremony, here's BNews entertainment reporter Chris Flaherty with a recap.
Hey everyone, Chris Flaherty here, and this is your Entertainment Buzz Oscar Wrap-Up. The 94th Annual Academy Awards were held the night of Sunday, March 27th, and as predicted, many nominees went home with their first Oscar statue, but the ceremony wasn't without its surprises, which we will get into. Arguably, the biggest winner of the evening was Warner Bros. Dune, winning a total of 6 awards. But the highest honor went to Coda, which won Best Picture. The film won in each of the 3 categories it was nominated, including Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor for Troy Kotsur. Kotsur becomes only the second hearing-impaired actor to win an Oscar, the first being his Coda co-star, Marlee Matlin. Coda is also the first film released by a streaming service to win Best Picture, and was also filmed here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. While Netflix's The Power of the Dog was nominated for 12 awards this year, Jane Campion's win for Best Director is the only Oscar the film took home. Campion becomes only the 3rd woman to win the Academy Award for Best Director. Encanto took home the win for Best Animated Feature, making this the 4th time Disney Animation has won this award. Ariana DeBose took home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for the role of Anita in Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story. This is her first nomination and win, and she is the first openly queer woman of color to win an Oscar, and only the 2nd Latina actress to win an Oscar. As fate would have it, the first Latina actress to win an Oscar was Rita Moreno, 60 years ago for playing the same character in the 1961 version of West Side Story. Moreno also stars in the 2021 version of West Side, but as a different character. For her portrayal of real-life televangelist Tammy Faye Baker, Jessica Chastain took home the Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role. This was also Chastain's first win. And Will Smith also took home his first Oscar for his portrayal of Richard Williams, father of Venus and Serena, in King Richard. Speaking of Will Smith, let's talk about that moment, surely to become known as the slap heard around Hollywood. When comedian actor Chris Rock came on stage to present Best Documentary Feature, he made a jab at Smith's wife Jada Pinkett, saying he was looking forward to G.I. Jane 2, referencing her shaved head, comparing it to Demi Moore's similar look in the 1997 war drama. What may or may not have been known to Chris Rock or audiences is that Jada Pinkett Smith has been open about suffering from her alopecia, or hair loss. While Will Smith was initially seen laughing at this joke, Jada was clearly not having it. Seconds later, cut to Will Smith approaching Chris Rock on stage and slapping him hard across the face. The audio of the broadcast was cut for an extended period, but uncensored audio from overseas broadcasts reveals that when Smith returned to his seat, he shouted, "Keep my wife's name out of your expletive mouth." The ceremony continued on, and then, as predicted, Smith did win the Oscar for Best Lead Actor. Smith delivered a tearful speech, citing his need to protect his family and that love makes you do crazy things. Smith did apologize to the Academy, but not directly to Rock. The Academy issued a statement via Twitter last evening stating, "The Academy does not condone violence of any form. Tonight we are delighted to celebrate our 94th Academy Award winners who deserve this moment of recognition from their peers and movie lovers around the world." According to The Hollywood Reporter, the Academy's Board of Governors is expected to hold an emergency call regarding Smith's outburst. This may include some formal sanction against Smith, most likely a suspension of his Academy membership, but not a recall of his Best Actor Oscar. For now, let's end things on a lighter note. If you'd like to watch any of these Oscar winners, here's where to find them. Coda is now streaming on Apple TV+. Dune, King Richard, and the Eyes of Tammy Faye can be found on HBO Max. Encanto and West Side Story are now streaming on Disney+, and The Power of the Dog is now on Netflix. That is your 2022 Oscar recap. This has been BNews Entertainment reporter Chris Flaherty. Back to you in the studio.
Can you imagine you're about to receive an award that acknowledges you reaching the pinnacle of your national craft and you commit an assault in front of 20 or 30 million people? Hard to believe. Now let's have a look at your weather with BNews meteorologist Peter Brown, followed by the community calendar from Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with Ultra Weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into April. I know it's hard to believe we've made it this far into 2022 already, but we are getting set to head into the middle of spring, which is some great news for those of us who love the warm weather. Now, starting out up here on Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures a little bit above average for this time of the year, probably around in the mid-50s or so with some spotty showers out there. kind of chilly at night again, though. Temperatures dropping down there to around 30 overnight into Saturday morning. As we round out our period getting in towards next Thursday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the mid-50s, and we're probably going to be about maybe 5 to 10 degrees above that. Unfortunately, it's going to come with a chance of some rain again by the end of the week, but again, some nice warm temperatures when we head towards the end of the period. And as we notice, those sunsets keep getting later and later. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center's calling for us here in the Burlington area over the next 7 to 10 days in terms of temperatures and precipitation. And looking at our temperature and our precipitation maps, they're looking like we're going to have about average temperatures and precipitation for the next 7 to 10 days. That's pretty much what I'm seeing as well. We may have a little bit of a cool start to this weekend starting out, but then our temperatures are going to start to moderate as we head in towards the work week. And again, doesn't look like we're going to be having any real heavy torrential rain, maybe some spotty showers here and there and a chance of some rain as we get towards the middle portion of the work week, but doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any snow around. So that is some great news. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, starting out our period on Friday, temperatures very pleasant for this time of the year, about where they should be in the mid-50s. Fortunately, you're going to have to bring that umbrella with you as we're going to have some spotty showers around, especially in the morning. Now, as we head in towards the weekend, starting on Saturday, our temperatures are going to get kind of chilly down into the upper 40s. So that real chill in the air again out there, more like it should be in March, but we've just passed March, so really not too chilly out there. And then as you can see, our temperatures start to moderate as we head in towards the work week. Again, a little bit below average to start. Temperatures only around 50. But then we're going to see the chance of maybe some light to moderate rain moving in here by Wednesday and Thursday, with our temperatures getting back up into the lower to mid 60s. So it looks like we have some at least mild temperatures ahead, even though it may come with a chance of a little bit of rain. But as they say, April showers do bring May flowers, and hopefully that rings true this year. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On April 7th, the Burlington Historical Society is having a trivia night, all about Burlington. The event will be held at the Murray Kelly Room at the Council on Aging. Doors open at 6:30 and the program begins at 7:15. On April 9th, the Burlington Performing Arts Parent Association is having a 2-for-1 fundraising event. The event will be held at Burlington High School. For more information, call 781-365-0261 or email bpapaburlington@gmail.com. Also on April 9th, from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m., 3rd Avenue will be having free Easter Bunny photos. Photos will be taken inside of Mitchell Gold and Bob Williams' store. Also, there will be live music on the green, balloon and tattoo artists, and the Comcast Infinity Store will be giving out candy and swag on the green.
Burlington High School Athletics is launching boys varsity volleyball this spring, and BNEWS sports reporter Robert Paris met with the new Red Devils squad.
A new athletic program is in the spring lineup this year at Burlington High School. Boys volleyball. With the season start date of April 12th, the Red Devils are underway with their practices at the Vanilla Gym.
I got started about 6 months ago when the athletic director asked me to help coach out the team. He said he was interested in starting a new program here in Burlington. It's new for the league that they're in, and he knows that I played volleyball for quite a long time and asked me to join in and see if I could help out.
As many of the athletes are new to this sport, the players are taught the basics on the court.
Sportsmanship. We've seen a lot of that lately around the area and lack thereof. And so we're really trying to instill that in these athletes as they get started. Many of them have played sports before, but not volleyball. And so for that, we're also trying to instill the basics, the fundamentals. As a brand new program without a sort of feeder system to it, we're really trying to give these guys the basic skills in order to become better athletes, better people, and then better volleyball players eventually.
A couple of the athletes had a chat with BNEWS Sports about how they are enjoying their time on the team so far.
I'm just looking forward to playing volleyball, man. It's just a great group of guys, man. You can't ask for a better team. And just see what we got, you know?
The first day we were learning about hitting. I'm kind of having a little hard time trying to get the run up, but
I'll get the hang of it, I think. And we're doing passing, blocks. It's all the great stuff. Running over the basics right now, though. But that's how you get a good team.
The Red Devils can hardly wait to start the season in Methuen.
Well, it's going to be very exciting. We're really excited about the whole thing. I can tell you that there'll be a lot of butterflies, brand new sport here at Burlington, and it should be a terrific day. I know there's a lot of excitement around it. I think it'll be a learning experience. A lot of these teams we're going to play, whether it's a scrimmage or a full game or a varsity, they will have been playing for a while. So we're looking to join in and learn what we can. Part of that is learning to be competitive, and we're looking to do that.
From the Vanilla Gymnasium at Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNews Sports.
The eyes of the world have been on Ukraine, and for those who'd like to donate to the victims of this conflict, here is Council on Aging Director Marge Yetman, with some safe ways to give.
Hello. Today I want to talk about scams. If you read my column in the Senior Spotlight, you know that I covered this topic in the April newsletter, but I want to reach as many as possible. You can't help but feel heartbreak as you watch families cross the border from Ukraine on the news. It was especially heartbreaking in the beginning, watching the little children clutching to their stuffed animals for dear life. The only thing I wanted to do was clear out the nearest store of their teddy bears and send them to the borders. But that is an emotional reaction, as is clicking on a link that mentions something about Ukraine on social media that tugs at your heart and giving money to whatever charity they claim to be. If you really want to help the Ukrainian people and keep your finances safe while making sure your money does the most good, you will want to do your homework. I'm going to give you 3 websites to visit. All 3 are trusted sources, and all 3 rate charities and explain the rating. Do your homework. There are a lot of charities that have excellent ratings. Don't feel you need to settle. Whatever charity you choose will depend on what you want to accomplish. Do you want to feed people, provide supplies, help people get to safety, or something else? Once you've figured that out, you can use the websites to figure out the best place to put your money. Taking the emotion out of it, as difficult as it can be in the moment, will protect you and your assets. Use these websites going forward whenever there is a disaster you want to help with. They will protect you and those you want to help. The websites are CharityWatch.org, the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance, which is give.org, and CharityNavigator.org. That's all for now. I'm Marge Yetman, and I hope to see you at the Senior Center.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo was sent in by BHS Class of 2021 alumni and former BNews sports reporter Liz Gillespie, who is currently studying biomedical engineering at the University of California, Davis. This shot comes from a recent trip Liz took to Disneyland over her spring break and shows the Marvel superhero, Ant-Man, posing heroically looking out over the park for evildoers. Thank you for the photo, Liz. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your winter activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments, whatever you think is interesting and want to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org, the subject line Photo of the Week. Also, stay tuned following this broadcast for the Burlington Public Schools Weekly Update. You can also view the BPS update at bcattv.org by clicking Programming, Educational, and scrolling down to BPS Weekly. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Tad Stefanak, John Vias, Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, Peter Brown, Gretchen Carey, and Marge McDonald Yetman. Thank you for joining us.